Here we go.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
Try to get a little Super Mario in there with that.
Yeah,
Here we go.
I'll let you welcome everybody in, Niall, and then we'll get going.
All right, happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. If you're happy, raise your hands like this. Now your mechanical hand on the screen because that'll drive me crazy with the vertigo. But yeah, fantastic. That's a whole lot of happy smiling faces. Oh God, I love being a part of this organization. Look. Look at all the cameras on. Fantastico. Got 2 pages of cameras on already. Oh, everybody's turning their camera on. 3 pages of cameras. Whoop, whoop. Happy Saturday, happy Saturday, happy Saturday. 175 people logged in already on a Saturday morning. Kudos to you. There's another batch we're going to let in. That number's going to grow. Absolutely love it. So, how many of you raise your hand again? Feel like you're in the right place at the right time? Yes, indeed. Oh no, they're gonna no, Candace, no, not that hand. There goes jumping all over the place.
Grab that
Guys,
lower hand button. I tried to save you, Niall.
Thank you. No, Denise, no, Teddy, no. Teddy, no. Fantabulous. Look, there's another big batch, Teddy. They're still coming in hot and heavy.
Awesome. I love it. I love seeing all the new people being recommitted to their business, to being successful for another year. I mean, you guys, this is the year to get going, right? This is it. I love January. It gives you those let's get going vibes.
It's our season.
Yeah. Let me so you guys, for all of you guys coming in, welcome. You guys get me for a little bit today. I think Rory might be able to sneak in here in just a little bit and get going, but I'm going to cover a few different topics that he has asked that he felt like it was pertinent that I cover. So yeah, let's get going, shall we? I am excited. We're going to, you guys, I'm just really excited. I'm spending a lot of time over the last several months getting prepared for the meeting here in Texas here next week. You guys, next week I get to see a lot of you guys, so that's exciting, especially my Texas peeps. Stacy out there, I think Donna's one of my Texas peeps. Jackie's one of my Texas people. So whoop whoop, I love you. I love all my Texas people. So this hour is our Triple R 247 hour, and we're going to talk a little bit about the branding of your marketing as far as social media goes. So we're going to talk about a couple different things today because Rory thought it's pertinent. We're going to talk about our Zoom calls and our trainings here, and then we're going to talk about social media posting and different things like that. I'm just going to cover all that. So I've been doing a lot of social media. I've been doing it since 2012, I think. 2012 is when I started really into social media outside of like what Rory, but outside of the company here, what we do here. I just did it socially for different reasons, but really just for fun. And then I kind of found, as I started going, I've really found and grown and learned a lot of different niches and different things to do to develop content and to kind of keep things going and moving. But a lot of that, some of that will be covered there, but I'm just going to cover some different things here because we have so many new people coming in. And I think it's important to try and recover some things. So first off, Rory asked me to talk about Zoom meetings. So we're going to talk about that. I have notes. So I'm going to refer to those because you know me, I'm a note taker. So if you guys have a notebook, you might want to get it out because I like to give you guys lists with numbers. You know me, that's how I am. I'm very, very meticulous that way. So we're going to talk about Zoom meeting etiquette first off, you guys, because we are on so many Zoom meetings, and I want you guys to understand that why we're here, and a lot of us know each other, and we are all like, we're a work family, and a lot of us are very close and also our family. We're also bringing new people in, right? And they're meeting us for the first time here. And so it's very important. You are always selling yourself, always. So that's the number one thing to think about when you're doing this, is you are always selling yourself. So every opportunity for you guys to share is very important. So the way that you present yourself is super important always. And so I'm going to say a couple of things about that, especially if you're an instructor, CSI and above, and you're starting to recruit and bring people in, and you're sharing the experience. That's so important that you guys, like I said, you're selling yourself. Rory talks about it in his book. I think I covered it in one of the other trainings that, you're always selling. Marketing is the oldest profession, and you're always selling yourself. And he talks about that a lot in his book. I think it was chapter 10, Rory. I think it was chapter 10. Was it chapter 10? I can't remember now. Sorry, but it might have been 4. Anyway, just read the book multiple times, take notes. I'll just say that. So anyway, the first thing I want to talk about, you guys, is, again, this is particularly for instructors, people who are bringing new people on a regular basis. It's really important to dress and present yourself professionally. So that's one. It doesn't have to be like up to the glammed up to the nines. You don't have to have, worry about all your earrings and your hair just perfect. That's not a big deal. It's just being professional, making sure your face is clean, your teeth are brushed, things like that. So that's really important. Also, you guys, please arrive on time. That's another thing that's very respectful, super disrespectful to come in late, especially if you are, like I said, an instructor. If you're new here and you're just getting in, get when you can, join when you can. Again, we have a lot of this recorded for those who have to work or have, religious holidays on different. I know that today is a religious, a religious meeting, religious holiday? What do you call it? No, Sabbath day. That's what I'm thinking of. It's a Sabbath day for some of our Jewish friends here. So I totally get that. So for those, but when you're here and you're coming in on time, make sure you're on time. Make sure you're greeting through the chat your people that are coming in, especially on Tuesdays when Niall has people unmute and welcome them, welcome people to the call. Make sure you're welcoming them as well and making them feel like they're a part of your team. So that's the first thing. Also, you guys, especially if you have a new computer, you're in a new location, you're doing something new, test your tech. Make sure that your computer works, your screen's working, what your view and your angle is going to be. That's all very important to make sure before you're getting on, especially if you're like me and you're presenting something or you're talking. It's also, but it's particularly just important to make sure that you have everything working and ready to go. So we travel all the time. So I'm always logging in early, making sure my camera is okay, making sure that everything is working, appropriately. So that's also important. Another thing is your background. This is number 4, by the way. If you want me to tell you the numbers, I'm happy to. 1 is dress to impress. 2 is arrive on time. 3 is test your tech. And 4 is choose your background. So make sure, like I said, make sure your background is appropriate. You can see I'm in a hotel room all the time. So I'm just making sure that it's clean and tidy behind me, that there's no clutter, and that people can focus on you and not on what the heck is in her background, girl? What you got going on back there? So that's really important as well. So another thing is to make sure you are muted. We have a lot of people that just come in unmuted and they're loud. Their TVs are loud. And it takes over the call. And several times I see now having to mute people to continue on. So make sure that when you're not speaking, you are muted. And if you have to, that would be number 5, is to make sure you mute yourself. Number 6 is to make sure your video is on. It is so important. This is the way we connect, guys. This is it. We connect through Zoom meetings. Unless you guys are going to the in-person meetings, which is so important. That is so important, you guys. So I hope you guys are making that a priority. You're making that a goal, because that is our office time. That is our around the water cooler time. That is the time that we get to talk and meet and greet and share that content. And you guys, there is something that happens when you are in person. And you guys know this particularly. When we closed ourselves off in 2020, I think you all know that we suffered. I think that taught us a lot of lessons, good and bad. And so it's super important that we make that time, make that commitment to ourselves, to our team, to our students, to be there for those meetings. So it's so important. But when we're here, this is our meeting. This is our work time. And so make sure your video is on, you guys. And not only that, it's the way we can connect. I know there's several people that are instructors that still don't want to turn their videos on. And I get that if you don't have an appropriate background or if you're not feeling well that day. I mean, there's always a few reasons, but for the most part, 95% of the time, your video should be on as an instructor. And that's just how it should be. And then also, you guys, please make sure that your facial expressions and your language that can be easily read through lips even when you're muted, make sure it's appropriate at all times. So that's the part of your video chat. So the next number would be 7. I think I have 15 of these. 7, and that is maintain proper eye contact. Make sure you are paying attention to the speaker. Make sure you're paying attention, and people are watching you guys. I've been always surprised that people will message me and tell me, "Oh, I liked your shirt," or I mean, when I'm not even speaking, or "Oh, I liked this," or "I like that," and I'm like, "What? They were watching me?" Like, you never realize how many people are actually watching you when you're not even talking. So make sure you're making proper eye contact, and you're listening, and you're intent on what is going on. For if you have to leave the room for a second, I mean, sometimes you have to do that during a call, make sure you're turning off your video for that too. So that's important as well. Number 8, make sure that you introduce yourself when you are coming in to your students. I already said that. Introduce yourself to your students, the people that are new coming on. Make sure that you are locked and ready to go. They know who you are, because again, this is the first time a lot of your students will actually meet you, will see you. And this is where you need to make sure they know who you are. You can connect and they can see who you are. Let's see, what is the next one? Be mindful of your speaking pace. I try to do that. If you're speaking, this is for just people who are speaking. I'm just a fast talker. I think I picked it up from Rory. He can talk. People used to ask me, "Do you speak, Rory?" I said, "Yes, I do fluently," because he's slowed it down a lot too. But he used to go, just go, 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 and so I kind of have that habit as well. So the next one would be minimizing tasks. So while it's great to be making lists and everything, and that's important, make sure you don't have a bunch of other things around distracting you. Again, like I said, the TV, radio, family coming in and out. Maybe you're doing some homework while you're doing something. Make sure that you're minimizing your tasks and you're focused on what is being taught. I cannot tell you how many times Rory or myself or one of our MSIs, Niall, Linda, Stacy, will go over something, Nell as well, and they'll go over a topic, and then how many questions we get of people that weren't even paying attention to what we were teaching or training, but then it's pertinent information they want to know, so they're coming back and asking a bunch of questions. And so it's one thing for if you want clarification on something, but to ask the whole thing that's being taught is not the greatest, right? It's not very nice, not very cool. And if you're not able to attend a meeting, that's completely different. Then your instructor can maybe mention, "Hey, this was the day we had that training," and they can go back. I know myself, I try to keep notes of each of our meetings and what we focused and covered, so that if anyone asks me questions, I can refer them back to a particular training. So that is something. You guys, using the chat features is the next one. Make sure that everything in the chat is important and it's not disruptive to the conversation at hand. Okay, so make sure it involves whatever we're talking about, we're speaking. I know, like, a lot of people want to catch up and chat about whatever else they have going on, but make sure that's on the sideline. Make sure that whatever chat is used, that we use here in the meetings, is used actually for the meeting. Let's see. Oh, next one, you guys. Please don't eat on the calls when your video's on, particularly. I know sometimes it's hard, especially for the Pacific Coast. The meetings that we do, the times that we do it, and in the evenings are dinner time. So just, be professional and make sure that you're not chewing and eating and drinking and all that. Unless we're having a wine and dine, save that for the wine and dine, please. Let's see. Don't treat your camera as a mirror. I cannot tell you guys how many times I've seen women in here applying their lipstick or checking their makeup. I'm like, what are they doing? Do they not know we can see them? Or, I have seen guys over there like fixing their hair. Just do that before. Make sure you prepare yourself before. Let's see. I think that is it. Just make sure after the end of it that you're following up with your students, that they understood what we were covering. That's why I said that's one of the reasons why I kind of just take quick little notes about what that was about. So you can follow up with your newbies and make sure they got the information that they needed. And if they had any questions, you guys, it's all about running your business. That's what this is all about, right? And this is a business tool that we have. So just make sure that you're using it appropriately, that you are, directing and you're following up and you're making sure that everyone feels the warm and fuzzies, because we're all a family here. We're all trying to grow and learn, and we're all trying to move in a new direction. So that is something, it's a really strong takeaway that I learned as well. And then let's see, is that it? I think that's it. I think that's all the different topics that I had for that particular purpose. But really the big thing, you guys, I cannot tell you how many people we see falling asleep on here, or leaving the room, or they come in with their radio on or their TV on in the background, and it's just super, super distractive. Also, again, make sure your angles, you guys can see how it's a professional angle for me. It's not like down too low. It's, it's professional. Everything's professional, right? Again, you're selling yourself, you're marketing yourself. So make sure that that is done appropriately. Anyway, I think that was everything for the first topic that I had. Rory's here. Do you want to jump in, Rory, and start on? I can, the only thing I was going to do is talk about when we post on social media as well. So that can be done another
I'll
time.
cover that and I'll come in right after that.
Okay, there you go. I guess you guys get more of me. Welcome. We're going to talk about posting when we post our ads. You guys get the amazing memes from Shar. Our designer designs them, and then she does all her little jazzy touches to it, and then you guys get them. So with all that, I know we have several people who have them, and Rory covered the reason why we do this. If you don't understand, read his book Under Coca-Cola Marketing. It explains it in great detail why we do that. But so we should all have the memes that we're getting, especially those of you guys who, if you're new, it's okay. Just talk with your instructor; they'll explain it to you. But when you're posting your memes, couple things I wanted to talk to you guys, not just that, because we post on Facebook as well. So there's just some couple things I just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of and to kind of give you guys some hints. Make sure, especially if you guys are all new onto Instagram, make sure you're doing hashtags. It's so important that you're hashtagging yourself. It's also important that you're tagging the people in the photo, i.e. yourself. If it's your PBS, if it's your link, post your, tag yourself, and make sure that in your context, especially Instagram, you can post in your description, you can put your website. So make sure that's all there as well. That will all help lead and help bring people to you while you're posting your memes there. So make sure that your social media pages your profiles are updated. It's a good impression. That's very important. First off, your picture, your profession, maybe it's, one of your graphics that you really loved, one of the memes, or maybe it's just your website, a picture of your website. Make sure it's professional, it's up to date, and that you take the few minutes to introduce yourself and that you have your website in there. So that's very important that you do that. So you want to make sure when you're posting that you're doing a ratio, you're doing business professional posting, but you're also doing some personal content as well. And make sure that the personal content all leads back to whatever it is you're marketing. And we are marketing everything pretty much. So wine, it can be your Velveeta, your snaps. It can be your coffee with your plus. It can be your morning, it can be you getting your hair done and showing your youth. I mean, there's all different kinds of things too. So make sure you're incorporating yourself in those as well. And those are just some really important things to kind of think about. Also, think before you share. Make sure that you're making sure it is appropriate for social media. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say there. Don't want to get into that one. That's a deep subject. So we're going to talk about that later. Post regularly to create and get followers and to keep increasing your reach. You need to be posting regularly. Every single day is great. I think it is. You can even do a couple of times a day. And to keep people their interest peaked, you can do little short videos I love Instagram and doing little short reels you can do those as well. It just helps keep everything fresh. Again, everything you can do this for both. Also, when you post on Instagram, that asks you if you want to share that on Facebook. So I think Facebook does the same, but you can, so you can be posting on both and sharing everything in different places is what I'm saying. So post regular, it says 2 to 3 times a week for sure. You can do it. You can do 7 times a week if you want to. Let's see, make sure you're interacting with your audience right away, guys. If you're getting questions on certain things, answer right away because they're interested in what you're offering, what you're selling, and that will help you. So make sure you do that as well. And don't be needy. I love this one. Do not be needy. Do not continually, if they ask you a question, don't just keep bugging and bugging and bugging them. If they have questions, it opens up. You'll know if somebody's interested in more than that. And so you don't want to just keep harassing them over and over again. But, that's fine to drip on them a little bit. Let's see. Whatever you do not complain on social media. I see people that share way too much information and I'm like, oh, dear Lord, I'm going to pray for you, honey, but that should not be out there. Because again, keep in mind, like you're selling yourself. And when you get somebody new, they're going to go look and they're going to look all of your stuff. They're going to go start scrolling through everything and they'll see everything that you've got out there. And I don't know that you want to tell them that you have serious issues and then you're selling stuff. I don't know if you want to say every little thing. So just make sure you're not complaining. If you're saying that you're rising above something, that's one thing, but keep it always positive, always professional, and always moving up, 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 up. That's the most important thing. And I already talked about you're selling yourself. You're always selling yourself on everything that you do. And then make sure you're matching your content to your platform. Again, we pretty much have an amazing opportunity here because we have so much that we can market. We have so many different options, so many different things. So just make sure that you are touching on all that. And you guys, this does not take the place of posting ads. So I want to be clear. This has been very particular to you guys to be successful in posting and getting Google AdSense and getting content to your site. The two things you need to do, and this is 100%, whatever time that you have for your website, for your PBS, Rory's been very clear on this. 50% is to create new content and 50% is to post ads. So if you have an hour a day, spend a half an hour creating content, a half an hour posting ads. Hopefully you can do more than that, maybe 3 hours every couple of days, and you can do an hour and a half creating content, an hour and a half posting ads. You guys, they have to match. Otherwise, you're not going to create interest, you're not going to grow, and you're not going to get the clientele, the people that you want to come to your site. So make sure it's matching and you're continuing to post regularly. Be visual. Make sure you're sharing, again, you're sharing the products, the pictures of those, you're sharing all that stuff as well. Next, you guys, and this is something that bothers me, it's a personal pet peeve, but writing in all caps. Do you know that that is considered yelling? So when you're doing any of that in anything, like on your caption or in your emails, anything like that, it's considered yelling. It's very offensive. So do not do that. Make sure that you're writing just the way that you would normally talk, and that is not in caps. So anyway, you're welcome to tag any of your locations, your businesses, anything like that. You can click the picture and tag things, and that does help you as well. It also, if people are following this particular business, it'll follow them back to your site as well. So those are just a couple of ideas that I had. I always have more for you. That's just a little teaser. I know I'm going to be talking a little bit, I think I'm not sure, but I think you wanted me to talk a little bit in Texas about maybe it'll be a training, Rory, but about how to get started with YouTube, how to get all that stuff done. So I'll let you.
We'll be doing that as a separate training.
Okay.
We got Texas, you guys, it's going to go quick. All of our trainings go super quick because they're jam-packed. It's meat and potatoes, how to do, what to do. I'm glad Tanya was touching on base on all this stuff today, because we're going into a growth in how we're putting things out, especially in social media. And then also some updates in Google AdSense. So I have an update for everybody here on Google AdSense. I'm going to show you guys something, and then I'm going to come back. So let me share my screen. All right, this is the main training site. So RRR247.com/RR. Step number 7. Okay, now I'm cleaning up some of the stuff in here. It's been a good review time. But right here in green, it says, see this before applying for Google AdSense. I have an AdSense checkpoints, and I will be modifying this some more. I need to get some of our other MSI's input on here, but I'm going to show you. I got the basics, advanced items to be aware of, and then overachiever mode. So these are things that, everybody should be trying to strive for. But before when you think you're done with your site and you're ready to apply for Google AdSense, go through these checkpoints. And I'm just going to cover some of them because there's some conflicting information that is coming back to me. I just want to make sure we're really clear. Okay. Basics, make sure you've modified all the links on all pages. Make sure that they are your link and not mine, right? That's the basics. Make sure every link is going to where you get credit. Advanced items, make sure I put a big thing here on duplicate work. We can utilize this the way I teach it, but we have people going above and beyond where they're copying more content onto other pages, such as the biohacking page. You're supposed to spend your time to write out all of those right, And then you take the information from Brain and take it to the Brain page and add to it. Not take the Brain over there and add all the other products too and just put Brain on the top. If anybody's doing that, you're going to get rejected because if you're fully duplicating pages, it's going to be a problem always. If you're duplicating a part of it that you are the author of and adding on to it to create an extension of that, that's okay. That's okay. And I mean, you take over the paragraph or the 2 paragraphs, and then you're adding way more content on top of that, totally okay. If you're just taking that part over, you got to add to it. If you're taking the whole thing from biohacking and just reordering it for the top of the page, I never taught that, and I'm going to tell you, you're going to get blocked. The biohacking page where we put everything listed. That's our master page for biohacking. And then we break it out to Brain and all those other ones separately as we do. There is a formula that I need everybody to follow on that. But let me just be very specific. If you're copying and pasting the same information from page to page, it better be a small content only of that new page. Okay. So I spell this out here, right? Make sure that the offer pages are unique in content as much as possible. Unique, and that's page to page. If you're utilizing the benefit of your unique work being done on multiple pages, such as in the DTCA, Bella Vita, Savings Highway Global page, SAG, pay attention. You want to offset the duplicate details with at least 120%. So more than equal parts. It's got to be more than 120% more. I gave you an exact answer. You don't have to go 200% more, but 120% more. So if you've got 2 paragraphs you copied over, you better be doing 3 or 4 additional paragraphs just to put it in light. Not a couple sentences. You want to be doing 120% more. Minimum. It's at least 120%. Not suggested, and you get around it, at least 120%. At least. Okay? So I put an example here. So if you use the Brain information from your biohacking page and the Brain food page, you want to be sure to add to it 120% or more additional information. And that should be your testimonial, product use, a story of how it's worked for you or somebody you know. It's easy to add content of these, and that's what we should be doing. Story sell, right? So depending on what you have in there, make sure you're adding a story, doing all that stuff. Like we want to make sure you're doing proper performance blogging. Category pages, make sure they are in the correct format. Paragraph on top to explain what the category is for. Then heading 3 in alphabetical order of the offer pages you are listing on the category page. Alphabetical order. And that alphabetical order is based on what you name that title to be. And I've seen a lot of out of alphabetical order when I've skimmed through the servers and I'm looking at the category pages. Make sure you're doing it alphabetized. It has to have an order and construct to it that's easy to navigate. And alphabetical is easy to navigate. Numeric, alphabetical, something of structure, and then you want to be consistent with that throughout. Make sure you're not having sales and marketing items on the category pages. And the clickable link, 4 sentences to entice the viewer. If it's less than 4, you need 4. You can go a little more than that, but it's got to be a pretty clear and concise, like itemization of what it is, like a summary of what it is. Basically, you can't just have you can't just have a sentence or 2. You got to have 4 sentences. You can go a little bit over, but when in doubt, look at 1f16.com. Always, when in doubt, look what I did. Okay. And I'll stress it again, do not put sales and marketing things. I'll go and someone will be putting, it sounds great, but you can't put it on the index page. The category pages are all for navigation. That's navigation. Now, overachiever mode. We put some direction to put on here that's going to help content drive and stuff that Google is going to like you having on there. So, and you guys, I just got done with a huge resource that I go to every January, and I was sitting down with Google pros. These are people that work for Google that are there to coordinate with big traffic people, and and what we need to go with. And you know, I was talking to an AdSense manager, AdWords manager, and he services clients that spend $100 million a year in marketing with them. These are big Fortune 5 companies, Fortune 10 companies that are doing massive awareness campaigns. And you know, and I'm trying to understand where we have issues or what they've changed that cause us issues, right? You know, you know, even as big as we are today, we are a small glick, right? Or small little tick in the internet. Now we're going to get bigger and bigger. We're growing something, but when they make changes, they're not attacking Triple R. They're attacking the bad players out there, and there have been some adjustments, and there's some things that have to do with AI. There's things that have to do with false information, whatever you want to deem that to be. Major topic, major thing to look at. But that being said, an opinion page is a really good way to go, and I'm going to be doing some mini marathons on this, what I call overachiever mode. Because this is what we can do to drive more and more traffic and help index the rest of the stuff that we have. So there's some good news and bad news about how we do things. And I'm going to go over that here. Let me take this off. Oh, look at this. I put a little tease on the bottom of this. So this is the Google, this is / Google AdSense. If you guys want to go to this directly, just look at it. But I'll put it, I'm here in West Palm Beach, Florida, with James, you know, and I'm actually doing a mastermind before we come teach you guys masterminding. And I actually I'm breaking down some things with them just so it's fresh when I get to see you guys, when we get to see you guys this week. But I'm going to just let you guys know there are some incredible tools with artificial intelligence, and you know, I've got some pretty good resources at my disposal. And you guys, I think I remember telling you, well, if you're new, you didn't hear the story probably, but when we set forth to build Triple R, and you can ask Tanya this all, I mean, I was told by a lot of my peers and my brain trust even that, you know, it's pretty crazy what I was looking to do. What Tanya and I are trying to do, helping as many people as we possibly can, help those that really aren't in a situation, help themselves, building a thing where, you know, we want to pay for the marketing, all that stuff. We were told like great hopes, a little crazy, not so much little. And in 2017, that first quarter, we hit break even. You know, we put in a lot of money to build this, sustain it, get the marketing in place, get everything going the way we need to go. We invested a lot into this vision, and lots, millions. And we hit break even where we no longer needed to put money into the company because we had to figure out the process, and it was just having the right things. And that was 2017 first quarter. And when I sat down with my brain trust and say, hey, look, we hit break even, and break even's a good thing to celebrate. Like, I'm going to tell you that it doesn't matter the scale. It doesn't matter if you've got millions in a business or you've invested, you know, $1,000 to get in the anchors. Like for you guys, like when you hit break even and you're bringing more in than what it costs you to maintain the business, celebrate big. Because now you just got to continue with the skill sets and the understanding to make profits. And then the sky's the limit with you guys here because you don't have extra overhead above what you guys already have because we fund your marketing. Tanya and I fund your marketing. Okay. So when you hit break even, whether that's, you know, your $200, $300 a month, maybe you spend a little bit more because, you know, you're like us and you love the Velveeta products. You're buying 4 boxes a month. Whatever. I consider that overhead. You can write that off. Yeah. 5 Nile. Yeah. I mean, Tanya and I go through 12 boxes. So that's part of our break even, and we got to cover that, right? You want to, even though it's a great perk, like I think I deserve, my body deserves the health and wellness that product gives me, and I'm gonna make it part of the budget I cover. You want to have more, make more, right? But outside of that overhead, we cover the rest with the marketing. So take advantage of it. I'm gonna stress that heavy. But once you hit break even, where you're no longer putting your money in to sustain the business you're in, and you're at break even, and now you're going towards profits, celebrate it like you just won the lottery, because now you're building a positive cash flow situation, and that is where you want to be. And it becomes addictive. The celebrations become addictive, and your body gets into a pattern to go forward on that. I'm going to come back to patterns in just a second. So we hit break even. We're celebrating it because we've done this exercise before. Now it's about how do we grow it? How do we sustain it? Go to that next level. And every one of our brain trust, they said the same thing. Rory, they said, Rory, okay, you've done it. How can we help? And James has been behind the scenes with a lot of things. And I was telling him about the struggles on the Google side. He does a lot of SEO work and things too. And, I'm like trying to break it down. And I'm just excited to tell you guys I'm here. We were up way late going over the brainstorm, but I think we came up with a plan. Now we're going to execute it to give you guys some more tools to blog better. And it's cutting edge. It's utilizing some stuff that's there. Again, resource wise, a lot of investments have been made to secure this stuff for this direction we're going. And now we're putting this stuff to place. And what I'm trying to do, and what we're always trying to do here, is to connect us with the right things so we can spend quality time to do more. Right? How can I find more time in the day? If I can make the process easier and cut the time down to allow us more time to do the now money building, right? Everybody doing via marketing, that should be your first priority. That's the number one thing to just change the scope of things. The more you do via marketing, the more you're going to change your income. Now, the assumption is your PBS is done. You've got Google AdSense, you're pushing it out there. And if you don't have that, you should be doing things to strive to get that. Getting Google AdSense is a big milestone. Big milestone. And then it's what we do going forward after that, right? It's bonus income. I consider it bonus money getting the Google AdSense cash, but that bonus money adds up. That bonus money, $10 a day is covering all your overhead. $10 a day. You guys put that in perspective. For $10 a day, people have the overhead necessary to create an incredible business with Triple R 247. $10 a day. $10 a day can allow you to create incredible cash flows. And once you understand that, you're like, and what do you get for that $10 a day, right? Yeah, you got your hosting, small. You got incredible products, right? We get wine. I mean, it's not a bad, when you look at it, you're like $10 a day and I get all of this, and I got a business that I get and that's all. You can write all that off as well. Like, there is no downside to being here. Now, the upside is do the necessary work, tie in, take advantage of all the paid marketing and the access to that with V-marketing, and you can help a lot of people build a team down the left, build a team down the right, and grow and expand and get that massive expansion going. Now, we're adding more and more ways to do that. But at the same time, we're content marketers. So we want to do everything we can to make sure that that's working as well, because that allows us to make money, get reach, and grow 24/7. And we want to be doing that constantly. So there's your teaser. That's what I'm here in West Palm. I'm in an office building right now. It's a Saturday. And you guys are showing up. Now I'm going to go back over that. Tanya, you're here still, right?
Of course.
I wish I had that immersion so we could both be on here. We'll go back and forth. We can do that in the webinar setting, but we're here, open. You guys, Tanya was covering, like, you guys are going to find out in marketing, it's all about consistency. The message you put out, it's all consistency. The amount of times you post, all consistency. You showing up for your business trainings, all consistency. I think a really good thing to point out, Tanya and I are here, your leadership, we're all here all the time. Tanya and I are here for you, right? We come on here to train you and pour into you. Until you know how to do everything, you've got to learn. Where are you going to learn it from? We're teaching it live. So you've got to show up for you, but you also got to show up for your team. Because there's an amazing energy when everybody's focused going the same direction. And, I was listening to Tanya going over the, kind of the etiquette of social media, presenting yourself, selling you, right? The art of self-promotion. And the thing about it is everything she says is like so spot on. yet it's also what we should be doing for every aspect, right? We should always be, what do we want to put out there? Now, the thing is, you know, gosh, I go through this on the manifestation and everything we train is there's a way you're taught in your environment to go and acquire things or create things, right? We're all creators, by the way. We all have the power to create, from a thought to execution of that thought and the creation of that, right? Whether we're making, you know, tables and chairs or fabric and drapes or digital products, whatever we put into thought and then execute on. And you only have so much time in the day, and you only have so much time you can consume your brain with patterns of thought. So anything you do that is in a negative direction, you are choosing to take negative energy and make it part of your pattern of life. And the universe is going to respond saying, well, Rory wants negative. He's focused on negative. That's what you're going to get. You're going to attract negative. You're going to just create more drama in your life because that's what you're putting out there. This is factual. It's factual. Seen it every time. No exceptions. And then you also have the choice, it's your choice, your freedom of choice to make everything positive. Everything, really. You can choose. I can have a whole positive outlook. And then you're going to attract positive, and the universe and everything connected is going to be saying, hey, Rory just likes positivity. He wants to be happy all the time. That's what I'm going to get back. That's what I'm going to attract. That's what I'm going to be able to be exposed to. It does come down to that choice. Now, there's a lot of mindset, I guess, theories or relativity that goes into play. You know, one person can get hit with something and just be devastated from it, and another person can be hit by the same thing and learn and adapt from it and be grateful for what it opened their eyes up to, so they could make forward movement. Everything has a choice like that. You know, I went through a very tough time in my life, and it was before Tanya came into my life. So I'll date it out there away. We've been together for a bit, and I just had this awesome attitude, and I hear it was so awesome, and it rubbed on off other people so much that I still hear about it. So I'm at that event last weekend. I'm in Vegas, and I had a friend come up that I hadn't seen in over a decade, and he's been following me, he's been watching me, you know, and he just said, Rory, I remember when this and this happened and this happened. And he's like, you're still the same. Like, nothing's going to knock you down. I said, well, it's because I choose not to. And he was like going through some hard things. And he shared with me, and I said, well, you know how it looks? He's like, yeah, I've been learning that more, but he's like, it's really hard. I said, well, let's talk about it. Is it hard, or are you learning how to make it easier? And it's just that way of looking at it, even a little thing like, well, you're right. Like, so anything you choose to make it hard on yourself, at the end of the day, you're the one choosing to make it hard. I'm not going to say it's not a horrible situation you're going through. It's just, how do you look at it, and how do you respond? How do you reset, refocus, and recommit from it? Right? How do you respond? And I just got into a pattern where no matter what, I got knocked down, I was just going to be happy and go forward because I knew I deserved it. I knew I had to get out of it. And that's probably, actually, it's why I got out of it every time. You know, I had things that would happen that, you know, some people would have like wrapped them up in a cocoon and they would have just been shut off in the world. And I just went forth. I just kept going forth. You know, look, it taught me something. Okay, you know what? I'm going to look for that next time. I'm going to make that. I'm going to learn from that. You know, Tanya and I chose something back in 04, 05. And big financial decision. And it was an absolute catastrophe. If you looked at it one way, we looked at it like, hey, we learned what not to do in this situation. We gained these contacts. We got this out of there. We're going to close this off, and we're going to take that forward. Those are all things, those lessons we took forward when we launched this in 08. We knew how to get back past huge hurdles from that. And I looked back and it looked like, hey, if we wouldn't have learned that lesson, that group of lessons, and use it to go forward with, we wouldn't even have Triple R today. And that's little things. And, you know, we look at our family, you know, you go through these struggles, and they listen, they suck when you're in them. At the moment, they suck. And you have to like sit back and say, well, what are we learning from this? Or what are our family members learning from this? And how do we help them guide that into growth, not despair? How do we grow from it, not despair from it? And this is all parts of our life. And if you can live all parts of your life where you're turning despair into growth and you're overcoming, it makes you a champion in every area you can be. And you're going to have a flourishing, happy life. It may not happen immediately, but I promise you, from everything I've seen and done and experienced, that's how it works. I have this crazy belief to some where I think every day should be wonderful. You can have a great day all the time. I strive for that. I put that out there, and you know what? When I have a bad day, and I call it a bad day, things are coming apart. I sit back and go, okay, I'm learning from this. I asked for great days. So what am I learning and what am I accomplishing through this turmoil to be stronger for happier days later? I'm going to tell you, careful what you ask for, because you're going to get it. Not only are you going to get it, it's probably not going to come in the way you think it's going to come. You know, we have to become the deserving vessel of what we ask for. You've got to grow to achieve it, right? There is a give and a take to everything. It's going to balance out, you know. So if you want to have this incredible abundant life, let me save you some stuff. And I'm going to tell you, you know, I go through my Jim Rohn notes. I went down a memory lane with Jim Rohn trainings this past week again. I do it from time to time. You know, I heard him from behind the stage so many times. So when I hear his lessons over again, I remember exactly where I was when I first heard it. And then I heard it again and again and again. Like it's like it resonates. And I remember, you know, his whole thing was, how do you become better, right? Become better, become better. You focus on you and the rest comes around it. And I'm summarizing big, but that's pretty much how it works, you know. And if, you know, and his teachings rubbed off on me, absolutely did. Because, you know, I was in great times, very great times, very great times, and then horrible times. But the patterns I learned that I put into motion when other factors, other people, other things came and created horrible situations for me, my pattern to just get up and go, reset, refocus, recommit every time pushed me all the way through it. And I can tell you, I promise you, I was very frustrating for anybody trying to tear me down, because I would just get up and keep going, smiling. I just knew I was learning. I'm getting better at this, right? And everything was, you know, I turned everything to a game. Okay, I'm going to become a better player in life. This is challenging me to become that better player. I'm going to level up. How do I level up? The more challenges you face, the better, and you win. You conquer over those challenges, you're rising up. And now you're worth more in a positive way. And if you're a sharing individual, your wisdom is going to help somebody else. We're all here to share all that, you know. And I go through this. We have some business partnerships, and I have you know, like I'll put an example. Like I'm here with James. James has done very well, but I've also seen strikeouts. I've watched him lose business. I've watched other things happen where he gets torn down, and he's a fighter. He gets up and gets going, and he gets these ideas and goes. And when bad things happen, he just gets it down and goes forward. Again, positive attitude. And I noticed that pattern. It's like he could just shut down and say, you know, the world's against me, hands up, I quit. No, just goes forward. If anything, he kind of goes forward with more vigor, because his pattern is set. Hey, I'm going to buckle down. I'm going to overcome this and become better from it. And it's fun to be around people like that. And that's what we wanted in our community here, is to rise up, teach people how to do this and conquer it. So when you're having a problem and you know, and it can be business related, it can be personal related that's affecting your business. I mean, let's face it, right? If you're having issues with your spouse, it's rubbing off in all of your other areas of life too. It just is. If you're having issues financially, it's rubbing off in other areas of your life. It just does. It affects things, right? Mood, temperament, abilities to do things, stress from debt collectors calling is probably one of the worst things for people to have. And it just has an effect that usually bears us down. But if you turn it, I mean, you can turn anything into a positive direction. And if that's what you're doing, that's the pattern you get into, you'll overcome everything. And then you'll be able to overcome bigger problems if you want to grow even more. You know, if you want to achieve more, you want to rise up more, you're going to go through challenges to get there. It's kind of the thing. You got to, there's got to be a balance, right? You've got to become the person that deserves that reward. And to become that person, you got to go through growth. And growth doesn't come easy. You got to push up, right? You got to grow through the rocks and the gravel and the soil. You've got to push up through that to grow into the sunshine. You've got to grow, right? So if you want to have a more vibrant life, you're going to go through some vibrant growth. And it's going to be challenging to you because those challenges are what makes you better. Sometimes you can see the patterns unfolding. And when you're in the life path on that, and I'll tell you, for me, it's like, man, things are struggling. I know growth is around the corner. Okay, I'm struggling. Wow, why are these challenges coming? And then I gotta sit back and say, what did I manifest? What did I ask for? What did I put out there? What have I already begun to celebrate? And then go, oh, it's coming. I'm getting raised up to get to receive that. When you get to that level, life gets better, because you are becoming a pattern of growth to achieve and receive what you're asking for. You've got to become the person worthy to receive what you're asking for, good or bad. So ask for good. I don't know why anybody would ask for bad things, but I've seen it, right? Your actions do it. Whether you believe in how the universe works or not doesn't matter. The universe is bigger than all of us. It's going to work the way that it works, no matter what you try to do to it. You either comply with the laws of the universe, or the universe is just going to put its will on us because it does. So once you tap in and learn, you want something, great. Receive it first. Act as if first. Receive it. Celebrate it. And then go do the work and the acts that are presented to you to get there. It sounds counterintuitive until you realize the following. Whoever taught you to go do it and then celebrate after you receive it probably doesn't have a lot, nor are they probably the best example. Every person I know that has achieved amazing things has figured out that it's reverse to what they try to teach us. It's reverse. You celebrate it, receive it, and do the actions, and then gain it. You got to know what your path is. You declare it, you receive it, you celebrate it, and then you become the person that deserves that. It's a pattern to be living in. And it sounds kind of quirky. It sounded quirky when I was first mentored about it. It was counterintuitive to how I was raised. All right. However, once you see it work and see it work again and again and again, you get pretty convicted, like anything, right? So it's something I used to get to the point where I knew I deserved overabundance because I was good. I was going to use it to help people. I need overabundance to do that. Abundance is great, but overabundance allows you to do so much more. And once you realize you're a good person, you're going to put it towards good uses, you deserve it, and you become the person that deserves it, it's going to come. That's how that works. So back to that comment, when Tanya's going over social media is just an outreach. It's a communication. It's a method of voice or of things. So whatever you put out there, you're going to get back.
Also, Rory, if I can say, I'm also like been doing a lot of this different research and things with Rory, because we're getting ready to meet with you guys. So we're really trying to get our mindset right. It's all about prayer, mindset, getting in the direction to help lead and uplift you guys. So we're doing that. But also you realize this, and when Rory was talking about all this, it's that red car story, Rory. It's once you start looking for the positive, you see positive. If you're constantly complaining, I've noticed that's all you see, because that's what you're putting out, right? So he says it's the universe will switch around. It is that way as well, but it's your awareness now changes. So it's just, you do those kinds of I don't know if you guys have ever done that before, but you say something negative about yourself, you say 3 positive things and mean them. And so there's different tricks and tips to help focus you guys, because you have taught yourself to be that way and to see those things. And for me, I was that way as well. And it took me really focusing on it and studying on it to try and fix my view. But once I started seeing the positive and voicing the positive, you see more of that. Because I have talked to so many people that think their life is just it's a a dumpster fire going on, and they have all this stuff going horribly wrong in their life. And I always will bring them back by saying, but you got air in your lungs and you got a beautiful day to look at. So there's always something positive in your day. It's just about your direction and your focus. And maybe that dumpster fire is going on, but you can focus it. So you guys, it really is about training yourself. I think I did a training about this as well, but it's about training yourself and taking those steps to correct your thought process so that you can always be positive, always be focusing on the good, always be, okay, what am I learning from this? Let's move on. So we don't have to do this again. So it's just that. So I'm sorry to interrupt you, Rory. Go ahead.
You're not interrupting at all. It's actually, this is great. And you guys, there's so much, and everybody coming to Texas, I promise you, you're going to leave there with way more ammunition to have a better life. Way more. That's, we get to pour into you. I'm gonna go back to my Jim Rohn studies, and Niall, I think you'll remember this because we'd be in some pretty, we had some special training times where it was just key individuals, key stuff in there. I had my one-on-one times with him. I had that very special night, and the one I will never forget. And he has a very awesome philosophy that he shared, and it resonated. He was the first one to kind of get me to see the world in a very different light as an individual that wants to impact change, right? I've always wanted to make the world a better place. What can I do to make it way better than when I found it, right? How can I be that comes from scouting, right? You go to a campsite, you want to leave it better than when you got there. You want to leave nature better than when you got there, right? So we're going to take out trash. We're going to do something to help make it better than we came. We're going to make it a better place for us visiting than not. All right. So very simple golden rule to live by. But Jim Rohn, he said something, and I know it, and I'll just put this out there. I'm not sure how many other people this has rippled out to. I'm sure it's a lot. And I heard it multiple times from him, like many times live. And then to hear a recording of it, it was a moment for me. And he says, hey, you guys all came here. I got to talk with you. I got to share all this. And you guys all get to take a piece of this. You guys all get to take me with you. And I want you to pay it forward to others, to share all this information. And I get to share you with me as I go forward. I'm a better person for being here with your energy and going forward with it. That element of understanding, when someone shares truth and ways to better yourself, nobody wants to just give that just to you. I think anybody that realizes it needs to radiate through you because, it's a ripple effect, right? There is an absolute ripple effect. Every person we can share our knowledge and experience and resources with to make them a better person, and they go help radiate that to others and make them better people. That is what we need in this world. We need light to shine through, right? Negativity seems like it travels so much faster than positivity. It shouldn't be that way because there's an equal path. It's just a lot more people have been raised to think negative, to let the world's against me, as opposed to the world is my oyster. I have to go make it work and I need to tie into it. And so when negative comes out there, people that are looking for negativity, the universe is just going to connect it and they're going to get what they're looking for. And it doesn't matter what they say they're looking for. If they're putting it out there, and that's what the universe is going to respond to. Our words are powerful, but actions speak way louder than words. So when Tanya was talking about what you put out there in social media, people will get responses when they say their life is horrible. People will get responses when they talk about a bad relationship or abuse and all those things, and they're going to get the response. But the outcome of that response is probably not wholesome because they're going to get more of that because there's things that just it's just going to resonate that way. Where if people focus on the positive or a different outlook. We've all had people we've had challenges with, especially like in relationships. I was taught one thing that changed my outlook, and it came from an attorney because I was dealing with a lot of attorneys, and I was just like, it seemed I was getting hit from every angle. This is years ago. And he said one thing that's literally, it switched me back to being the normal Rory direction. And he just said, they are a great, they are a great, they're a great competitor. They're a great challenge for you. And then all of a sudden, that's right. This is the challenge. I can overcome this. My competitive nature turned on. Okay, I'm going to thrive and push even more. Just looking at it that way, like, okay, this is a good challenge. Whatever this is, I'm going to become better from it because I'm going to challenge myself with it, and more or less turn it into a game. And also, if you're emotional, right? I talk about this a lot. Emotions, they're a luxury you cannot afford. If you get emotional in business, you're pretty much going to lose. Emotions just they take your logic out of it, right? We get emotionally connected to something, and we don't necessarily think rationally or logically, and so we make bad decisions. So if you can remove yourself from it, and if you're going through a struggle, the best thing to do is take yourself out of it, look at it third party, and like, oh, we're really sure struggling over there, but man, this is hopefully you can push positive and then like invoke positive thought to yourself, even as a third party, because you look at it and like, okay, he's going through a rough time, but man, we know we can get out of it. He deserves to get out of it. What's he going to do to get out of it? There's just different ways where you can take yourself out of the emotion, look at yourself like a third party, so you can remove that emotional tie. Emotion is super expensive. It's a luxury we can't afford, because when you get tied up in emotions, you lose. You can't afford to lose. You deserve more than that. Release the emotions, get rid of toxicity, get yourself to where you want to be going, and do whatever you can to make your dreams happen. Make those the priority. And that's the pattern you want to be in. We all get the same time in the day, right? We all get 24 hours, right? I keep asking the universe for more time, and what I get instead of is tools, things to save time. So I'm getting it answered, right? And and a lot of times, you can get more time in the day. It's one of those things, like if I had an extra hour in the day. So I learned you can get an extra hour in the day. Find the things you're doing and find out how to make them done better, faster, so you can get that time back to then apply to something else. It's how we use the time, right? And you got to sleep so much in the day. But if you're getting effective sleep, that's going to be way more productive. Effective sleep is going to get you more time. Even if you're going to be more productive in the other times. Your output in the other hours is going to be better if you're getting proper sleep, right? So, and we have a product that helps with that, which is a great synergistic direction, but better sleep. Well, what do you do when you get up? Look at your patterns, right? Are you doing something that you have to do in that time frame, or is there a better way to do it? Right? Anything, right? And this is why I don't watch TV. I can't afford to watch TV. I look at what television, or the time that television takes up, and what that costs me. It's expensive. That hour, that 2 hours, that 3 hours of television time, what could I have created in that same 3 hours that would be more in line with the goals that I want to achieve? And if that's something that can help you do that, those 3 hours are very valuable if used in that direction, and very costly if not, because you're going to lose that time. And I'm going to tell you guys, I've yet to make any money watching TV. It's never happened. It hasn't happened. And if you need to make money to make your other dreams come true, and you need those resources, that's not the good trade-off for time for me. And I'm not saying you guys always have, like, downtime is important, entertainment time to shut down. Tanny and I call it bubblegum time, where you can just relax and like settle, and then get back in the full go, right? Taking a little bit of retrieve, relaxing, enjoying life, smelling the roses, always a good idea. We're going through experiences, but valuable and time and value, right? We want to consider. All right, I just went 5 minutes over. I'll go ahead and stop this. Oh, actually,